Future-Proof is sponsored by Concordia Dental Healthcare, expert care you can trust.
Hello and welcome to Future Proof. You're watching Sarah Hopwood and I'm delighted that you're able to join me today as I continue these business programs looking at future proofing, what that might mean for you, me and everybody else, and also looking at the merits of emotional intelligence and how it can perhaps help us feel safer as we move forward. Please remember there is an emotionally intelligent diagnostic that you can complete. Just go to my website sarahhopwood.com and just click on, I think it says EQ diagnostic, and it will download straight away. You don't need to leave me any of your contact details or anything else, and please enjoy reading it, answering some of the questions, and indeed share it with your family and friends and ask them, to mark themselves, but also maybe to mark you, because it can really give a balance for you to mark it for yourself and for other people to mark it on your behalf. If you've been regularly watching the programs, you'll know I sometimes have people in the studio, and other times I look at different elements of emotional intelligence and discuss what those elements might mean, and sometimes I run through a few stories and comparisons and really just kind of sharing the knowledge that I have. And today I want to just run through, I've got no guests in the studio today, I want to run through the importance of our values, our beliefs, our behaviours, our thoughts, and how they can impact not just on our lives in general, but of course in the business world as well. So in front of me I have a manual, and it's something that whenever I run workshops or indeed present on the subject of emotional intelligence, I refer to some of the contents in the manuals. I actually have two massive lever arch files full of content on emotional intelligence, what other people have to say about it, and I think I've spoken before. Many people know Daniel Goleman, who was the guy who in the early 80s wrote about emotional intelligence. He was drawing on other people's information as well as his own, but Susan David has followed suit, and there are many who have written on the importance of habits and how we think and how and why we are misunderstood, and just wonderful little gems that we can read. We can bin what we don't want, but there's always some little nugget in there that resonates. And when I cover a very, very simple diagram that I have in front of me, and I'm just going to talk you through it now, when I talk about the importance of beliefs, our thoughts and our behaviours, and people can reflect back on experiences and say, why am I experiencing this, something that I didn't really want? And very often we can track it back to our beliefs, to our behaviours, to our thoughts, and also to our emotions, and also our motive. Why did we do or not do, or say or not say something? Was it linked to a good motive? Because very, very often if we have a bad outcome, you can often track it back to either one of our own negative, if you like, or thoughts around the wrong motive, our wrong intentions, or maybe what you've just witnessed and has been revealed to you is that someone else actually came from a place of bad intentions, bad motives, or negative. I don't want to use the word bad, but not positive, not with a view to uplifting, promoting, or I think sticking to some very good core values. And when that happens, when things come from a more negative place, very, very, very often we can have negative outcomes, and if we're not careful, we sit and scratch our heads and wonder why. And sometimes it'd be quite healthy to go back and have a look. So it starts off with beliefs, and to begin with I've got three bubbles, and I've got beliefs in the top, I've got thoughts, and then I've got behaviours. And whatever we believe, we will experience outcomes very often support what we believe. We will see what we want to see, whatever we believe is true, which is why we've got to be so careful about the things that you and I believe about ourselves and what we believe about other people, because we tend to we tend to believe our own press, we tend to believe our own self-talk. And if our self-talk isn't healthy, then we've just got, a huge responsibility, and if you like, an accountability around our self-talk, linking to why we are where we are. Behaviours is also very relevant. So if we have beliefs at the top, then we have our thoughts, and please, as I said just now, be very careful about self-talk. And also, I think research shows that, I can't remember the numbers, but I think it's 90-something% of the conversations that we have in our heads today are exactly the same as the conversation that we had in our heads yesterday or the day before or the day before. We tend to be repeat, particularly if we're anxious over something or cross, or if there's a very strong emotional response from loving somebody to criticizing somebody or to holding a grudge. We tend to repeat, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, or I'm angry with you, I'm angry with you, I'm angry with you, I'm angry with you, and this is why kind of stuff. So we just have to be careful and observe, if that's the right word, moderation, self-control, self-regulation. If you think of the central heating being on and regulating it, and we need to do that with our own thoughts, with our self-talk, and with our emotional responses. And then behaviours, the last thing in that box is behaviours, and that's around the word performance. And in business, this is key. Our performance is hugely significant in any business. What does any business owner want? They want peak performance, and for us to be, highly efficient at being highly effective. And sometimes with our performance, we are highly efficient at being highly ineffective. And people will say, but I'm working so hard, I'm putting in so many hours, and someone like Richard Branson, and I'm only using him as an example because people know that he's had many fingers in many pies. We all have 168 hours in a week, everyone does. Richard Branson has no more time than you or me or anyone else. And so the question goes to people who are highly efficient at being effective. What is it? Where is their performance? What is it that they are doing that is so much better, highly effective, dare I use the word accurate, doing the right things in the right order at the right time? They are seen to be far more effective, where someone else can be busy, maybe spending much more time doing something than another person. But if we're not careful, and it could be a colleague in the workforce or it could be ourselves, we are actually being highly effective at being inefficient. And that's why we have to be so careful, because in a world of artificial intelligence, in a world of machine learning, consistency, predictability, highly effective at being highly efficient is something that robots bring to the table, and it's tangible, it's visible, we can program it, we can see it, we can monitor it, we can log it, we can learn from it. And we just have to make sure that our human behaviour, linked to our beliefs, linked to our thoughts and our self-talk, and linked to our behaviours, put us in a competitive market with these artificial intelligence, with the computers, with artificial learning, that we are predictable, that we are highly effective in our performance, that we are consistent, and that we do what we say we're going to do, and also that we do things in the right order. And tied up in the middle of that too is, years ago they used to say fail early, now we use the words fail fast, because possibly early meant that maybe you might fail prematurely, because resistance and having great courage and being brave is very important important to success. So failing early, actually, you could be missing success by millimetres. So be careful of your beliefs and your thoughts and your behaviours. And when you think about it, you can be effective.
EQ, emotional quotient, is better known as emotional intelligence. It is a tangible tool that can sit alongside your services or your product, and it can be taught. Leaders with high EQ have less stress, they're more effective, and they earn more money. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. I believe that teaching emotional intelligence has a direct impact on your sense of success and your net profits. EQ will empower you and your workforce to drive the change that you want. Change brings transition. EQ can help unpack what's holding you back and speed up that period of transition.